the reason why there is a host tether in non-dedicated. This is something that I get asked about constantly because I produced a video last year talking about how the option was removed, the option to change the length of the host tether in non-dedicated.
To clarify, the tether was not removed. I never said it was removed. The option to change the length of it was removed. Previously, you could lengthen it. Now you cannot. It just is what it is. It cannot be changed, and it cannot and will not be removed from the game. Hang in there and I'll explain why. Please watch the video before you comment. And if you stick around until the end, I'll show you a cheeky little exploit you can do with the tether.
Let me back up a bit. When you're playing in non-dedicated, if you have a friend on with you, they will not be able to go more than a certain distance away from you. If you go too far apart, they will get teleported to you, or they will start to be dragged towards you. It is extremely annoying and can be extremely frustrating, but it's not a feature. Nobody thought that this was a good idea. This is a hardware limitation. This is a limitation of the game itself. The only way they could not have a tether in non-dedicated would be just to not do non-dedicated at all. And let me explain what I mean by that. And I've talked to the techie friends, modders and stuff about this, and they're the ones who explain this to me. That basically ARC is an extremely RAM heavy game. ASA even more so than ASC. The game uses a ton of RAM, and it's really taxing on your graphics card too. It's just a really big game with a ton of moving parts to it, right? And the RAM, your memory, is what's keeping track of all of those moving parts in real time while you're playing. And in single player, you're playing and just the area right around your player is out of stasis. Everywhere else around the map is frozen and nothing is happening while you're not there. And then as you move around, the area comes to life as you move into that area. And so whatever area is out of stasis, it has to be continually updating all of the information for that area. Oh, these two creatures are fighting. This Dilo is fighting with this Parasaur. What is the Parasaur's health at now? What is the Dilo's health at now? Does this Parasaur have babies? Where are the babies? What are they doing? What is the health of this tree here? Is this tree been knocked down? If it has been knocked down, when will it respawn? This rock has been harvested. When will it respawn? What are all of the creatures in the radius? What are their pooping timers at? What are their egg laying timers at? All of these little bits of information that have to be continually updated. That takes a lot of RAM. And so that's why it only keeps track in real time of the area right around you, the area that's out of stasis. And then and the rest of the map, it keeps track of the information in there. It doesn't take as much because it doesn't need to be updated constantly. It just needs to hold the information of when you were last there so that when you move back into that area, it'll pick up where it left off. So it has to kind of keep all of that information so that as you move around the map, it can bring things out of stasis, not break your immersion for you. The thing is, to do that for more than one part of the map at a time takes infinitely more RAM. You would need like twice as much to keep more than one area out of stasis at the same time. So the only way you can do locally hosted online multiplayer is by treating it like single player. And the way the game does that is by using a host tether to force all the players to stay in that same area that the host is keeping out of stasis. So they all have to stay in the same area. The only way to get rid of the host tether is to play on a dedicated server. And you don't have to pay for it yourself. That is an option. But if you don't want to pay for a server, you can play on somebody else's server, but it has to be a dedicated server, not a non-dedicated session. So you can play on official servers. You can play on unofficial servers. There are tons of wonderful unofficial server communities out there that you can join and play on them for as much as you like. There's some that do have cost to join them. There's some that you just have to join a Discord in order to join it so that they can communicate with the players who play on that server. I have servers as a perk for my channel members and Patreons. So there's a lot of places to play on a server if you don't want to mess with setting one up yourself. If you do want to set one up yourself so that you have total control over everything that goes on there, you can choose your own settings, you can choose whatever mods you want, then renting your own server is probably the way to go. And I have other videos on that. And if you use my link, then that helps out the channel. I appreciate that a lot. My link for Nitrado is in the description. I also have an area on my Discord for supporting server owners, for enabling server owners to help each other out, asking and answering questions. I also have very detailed frequently asked questions sections you can browse through to learn a lot of stuff about managing your own server. You can see the mod lists of the mods that I use. You can copy and paste the settings that I use on my servers so that you can use those to get up and running in minutes. So yeah, running your own server, pretty much the only way to not have a host tether at all. Basically what your options are, if you want to play with a friend, are you have to either play on a server together, or you could each play single player, but be chatting with each other. You know, you can always be in a voice call together chatting while you're both playing separately in single player. And then you can always temporarily hop into each other's world through a non-dedicated session to help with something specific, to do a boss fight together or whatever, but then the rest of the time play separately. That's also an option. Or you just have to actually play together. You have to just keep in mind that if you're playing non-dedicated, you can't go off and do your own thing. That's not what it's set up for. It is set up for you to play together and do everything together. And actually, there are even ways that it can be kind of exploited a little bit in fun ways. I mean, think about it. It's basically a free teleport, right? So like I did a little experiment with a friend of mine in non-dedicated where I was on a speedy pteranodon and I got just far enough away from the wyvern trench on scorched earth so that we were close to the end of that tether. And then she used a parachute to parachute down into a wyvern nest and grab an egg. And then she told me, okay, I got it. And I took off flying with the pteranodon. And sure enough, it teleported her to me, safe distance away from the wyvern trench with her inventory intact, including the egg. So it can be used as a little bit of an exploit like that. I have also heard that if you fast travel using beds in Ark, then it drops your inventory, right? It leaves all of your stuff behind in a bag. But if you're playing non-dedicated, it doesn't drop all of the other person's stuff in a bag. It just pulls them to whatever bed you popped out of. It teleports them to you with their inventory intact. So, you know, you can always give all your stuff to them and then bed hop, and then they come bringing all your stuff with them. So, I mean, there's things that you can do with it. It's not the end of the world having a host tether, even though it is kind of annoying. I definitely recognize that. But anyway, that's basically the options. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any other questions, please ask in the comments. I do read every single comment, and I usually will reply to every single one as well to the best of my ability. I also live stream fairly frequently, and I live stream some modded gameplay, typically Tuesday nights with some friends, and it's always a lot of fun. I hope you'll come hang out with us sometime for that. And if you watch to this point, then please leave a bird emoji for me down in the comments. I also do some building live streams. They're always very laid back and chill. You're welcome to lurk, or you can always hop into chat. You can ask questions about whatever, and I'll do my best to answer them. So I hope you will come and hang out with us for those. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll peck that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.